So, we have the pleasure of Lisa Fox's company today, and we're going to have a talk with her a little bit about who she is, what she's passionate about, what she does, and how she uses her Life is Crafted planner in her everyday life. So welcome, Lisa.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
So could you start off by telling us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and maybe what you're really passionate about as well?
Okay, so for the last 2 years, I've been working on a business with my partner Duncan, which is called Open Shed. So we say, think of it a little bit like eBay, but rather than buying and selling, you're renting to each other. So things that you have that you only use occasionally, that you'd be happy for other people to use when you don't need them. Or vice versa, you're only looking to use something once or twice, so we say, why buy when you can share? So that's what I do on a daily basis, and really I'm passionate about collaborative consumption, which is an umbrella term for sharing, bartering, renting, swapping, that's been reinvented by the internet. So Open Shed fits within that, but also it's just a whole lot of different businesses are popping up at the moment, and I'm just really passionate about connecting with all those people doing that, as well as sharing with the rest of the world what's happening in the collaborative consumption or sharing economy space.
So if somebody was to use Open Shed, could you give us an example of something that they might be sharing or renting to others on there?
Well, so this morning someone just rented our moving trolley. So they're moving and they live a couple of blocks away from us. They jumped on to see how they could cheaply access a moving trolley in North Sydney. And that just happened to be ours. Awesome. So they called around and picked up our moving trolley for them to move over the weekend. I'm thinking on the weekend, I know that we've got a couple of kayaks out. So someone's going to be paddling around in Blackbottle Bay in Sydney in a couple of kayaks. We've got a projector out at the moment for someone doing, they wanted it for a week, they were going to do some business stuff, but then on the weekend decided that they might do a home cinema kind of experience. So, it's a wide range of stuff, and it's sort of up to your imagination, really.
Yeah. Awesome what you're putting out into the world. So, obviously you've used diaries, planners in the past. What sort of things have you used before?
So I am a massive list woman.
Yes.
I've always been a list woman. So I've tried a variety of things. So, went from just, written lists or notebooks full of, I used to be a public servant, so I would have just really a notebook that just was full of lists, basically, and then use also an online calendar. So I was kind of using both those. And so when I started my own business, I was basically doing that as well. So using the online calendar, but then a hard copy list, because I didn't really like the online task kind of management stuff. And but at the start of this year, coming into a new year, you're always trying to think about, how you're going to reorganize your life this year. And one of the things I realized was that with the online calendar, I didn't have good visibility of what I had been doing. So when I wanted to look back over what was the year, I didn't really find it a very easy way to see that. And I go to a lot of events and I do a lot of different things, but I wasn't quite capturing that. And then, I was capturing it, but not in a way that I could ever revisit it. And so that was really where I decided that I wanted to try a hard copy diary again. So that's sort of how we ended up with my diary, which I love.
Fantastic. And I see you've got it in an A5 folder.
I do.
So these are one of the ones that you can buy at a stationery store.
Yeah.
And what's really great about it, like you've done here, it's got a plastic sleeve around it, so you can slip in photos, pictures that speak to you.
So I originally was going to change this quite regularly of just different things that, were feeding my mood. But then I came across this, and then I just love this picture so much I haven't actually changed it. But eventually I'll, move on to something else. But it just makes me smile every time I look at it. So I'll leave it like that at the moment. But yeah, and so for this, the folder was just from Officeworks in Australia. So yeah, and it's just really easy. That's a great size for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's a typical day in the life of Lisa Fox? And I mean, I know you're a very busy woman, so every day is probably a little bit different.
Yeah.
But how does your planner help you to either plan or keep track? How do you use it in your daily life?
So what I've found now moving to a hard copy diary is that I do have better visibility of what's coming up as well. So that actually looking at a week and going, that looks quite cluttered, maybe I shouldn't book anything else in, is really, really useful. Like that I actually think has really been having a visual cue to look at and go, no, I am not booking that in this week, or no, I can't go to that event. Even though when you go to an online calendar, you can still, you can look at the week and you can see what you've got coming up. It's not the same as that you've written it down and it's there, like right. I don't know. There's something much more empowering about it being in your handwriting, just going, that looks really, really busy. And if I saw that in someone else's diary, I'd be worried for them.
It's the magic of paper, of the visual medium.
Exactly. So a typical, probably better as a typical week for me, that will probably be a couple of evening events. I'm trying now to only do a maximum of 2. So that I can have some social time and things like that too. And then now also scheduling one day that is just meetings, as opposed to having it scattered randomly throughout the week, so that I can just focus. Today's the day when I'm just going to be meeting lots of people. I can set the expectation that I'm actually not going to get that much work done. It's going to be more meeting people and, all that stuff that's important, the networking. And then trying to have, we've got our own business, we do work a lot, and so now really trying to schedule at least one day a week where we're not doing work, which is hard.
I totally get you. It can sort of jumble it all up, and then you are working 7 days a week.
Yes.
Because you're trying to put some fun in your work life as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So the boundaries get a little bit blurred.
And you are doing what you love. And what I think I've realised since now doing it for a little while, is that you'll love it and love it and love it and love it until one day you're just over it, which means that you probably should have had a bit of free time a little earlier than that, because otherwise then you just end up flopping on the couch and doing nothing for 2 days or something, so I do also, just in terms of being able to visually see things that are coming up and just being able to flick through and going, actually we really don't have any personal fun stuff scheduled in for a while, we should schedule something in.
Yeah. Perfect. And so you're using the week on 2 page
Yes.
layout.
Yeah.
Do you want to maybe take us through or just show us a couple of things of how you use it? Because everybody does use these pages differently. I have a sort of idea, a guide of some of the ways you can do it, but everybody has their own lives. So I love seeing how people customize it to themselves.
So originally I wasn't really even using the month view very much at all. I've started using that a bit more so that at a glance I can kind of see when things are coming up. But really having 2 pages, the week on 2 pages just is really useful for me. So I suppose I also like to use different coloured pens and to mark different things, just make it look nice.
You're totally a list person, aren't you?
So I do, what I do is schedule in my meetings. I also have, say on every Monday night I have a Skype workshop that I do, so that's always in there to remind me, because I have a tendency to forget it because it's on Skype and it's happened so regularly. When it's a meeting day, I will often write in my diary the things that I have to remember to tell that person about, because at some point during the meeting I know I'll have my diary open, so I'll do that. We do our mastermind Skype calls every week, so what I will do there is I'll write my at the top on the Monday I would write my 5 priorities for the week, and that would just always sit there. And so then on a Friday I would write where I got up to with those 5, as well as, because in our mastermind call that Arienne and I do, we always say 3 good things.
3 wins.
3 wins for the week. And I also, now it's really good to remember to actually write it in there as opposed to putting it somewhere else, because then I can always just flick back and remember that. So,
yeah, because the weeks go by so quickly sometimes that you forget like these milestones that happen or these wins that we had in the weeks. And I guess it's just nice to flick.
Exactly. Back. Yeah, exactly. And just remember them. I set in deadlines of different things. Whether I actually keep to those deadlines is another matter. And then I also use, for longer lists, I'll use the project planning. That will.
Do you want to just flip it around and just give them a bit of a glance?
So that's one of my project plannings, where really I'm reverting to my list style, and that's just to, it's still just how I prefer to work. So there and there, that's another one there. That's a lovely coloured one that I've just done there.
On the master to-do list page?
Yes,
great.
To make me feel excited about the work that I need to do.
And do you find that works? Like if you use colour and make it sort of pretty in your eyes, that you're more inspired to plan or take action?
Yes, definitely. It really is. I mean, for this one, it's also like just having the multi-columns. Like, you know, in a to-do list when it's just one list, and it's just one after another, and like I'll end up, if I was just designing my own to-do list, it'd be one long line, and then I'd have all these little arrows coming off different things because I'll think of different things as I go. So being able to have, you know, the master to-do list has four columns, it's segmented. It means that I can slip things in later, as opposed to you end up with an ugly to-do list, and then if you're procrastinating, you redo your to-do list so it looks nicer. So it's useful. Yeah, it's definitely useful in that sense.
Yeah. So, do you have a favourite part of the planner or a favourite page in there?
Honestly, it is the week to 2 pages. Like, I just like being able to see the whole week.
Yes.
That is just, it works really well for me. And as I said, like just being able to see in a glance, yeah, that looks like a stupid, crazy week. Or, you know, it's looking okay. So, because also for me, like some events get booked in months in advance, while some stuff only gets booked in like maybe a few days in advance. So just being able to keep an eye on where everything's looking is really useful too. So I mean, for me, that is my absolute favourite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you find that one of perhaps the biggest benefits that's coming out of this is just being able to visually see what's happening this week.
Yeah, yeah.
And whether it's crazy and you'd be a fool to add 7 more things in, or
yes.
even 1 more thing in.
Yeah.
Or not.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So helping with overwhelm or helping with just taking on too much.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, which I have a big tendency to do.
So, one of the big things we love at Life is Crafted is goals. So big things or big visions that we are working towards, and often a planner or the Life is Crafted planner helps us perhaps breaking it down with some of those lists and working towards it. So do you have a big goal you are working towards at the moment?
I do.
Is it something that you can share with us?
I think, yes, I mean, I set as a goal for myself this year was to, I've started doing a fair bit of speaking at different events, so I'd set as a goal to be paid to speak by the end of this year. And I think, I mean, it's really coming back to the same thing of having a hard copy diary where I can go through everything and plan things. It actually really makes you think properly about how many months you've got left to do something, or how many weeks, and if you want to achieve something you need to do X by this date, and really properly visualize it, as opposed to just the end of the year suddenly here and where did it all go. And also then being able to flip back and go, well, you did talk to that person, you did talk to that person, you did put things in train, whether or not they ended up happening, or that you got the result that you wanted, that you can flip back and sort of see the steps that you were taking towards your goal.
Yeah.
So for me, it really was booking in my first keynote for the 1st of August. And then being able to say, okay, well, that's the 8th month, that's a keynote, I'm not being paid for it, but a keynote is a nice step to blah, 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 and so it's then working towards that.
Yes.
And also setting down, okay, well, I should have my draft written by this date, I should, have slides ready, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, just keeping myself, I guess, almost rooted in reality a little bit.
I totally understand. Because sometimes I set goals, and then in my head I'm like, okay, so by the end of May I want to be doing this, this, and this, or this will be done.
Yeah.
And then when I actually get my planner out, and then I flick, it's like, it's only like one flick.
It's
to the end of the month.
alarming when it's only one flick. Yes.
Does that make sense? Like,
yes.
That's the reality check for me, going, is it really true that I'm now here on this Monday, and really by the end of the next week, the next flip is when is that real that it's going to get done? Maybe not.
Yeah, exactly.
A few more flicks maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I need to break that down a bit, or do I need to just move the desired date to it?
So, would you recommend, if somebody was maybe feeling disorganized or overwhelmed, would a hard copy planner be something that you would recommend to somebody? Or with a Life is Crafted planner? Not biased or anything.
Well, yes, and I actually do regularly, because my life is crafted planner comes with me everywhere. And so I do pull it out, and people are like, oh, what's that? And then I get to say, well, my friend. But I do recommend it to people. For me, because it's just been so useful, I wouldn't have really thought about moving off an online way of organising myself to an offline could change just the feelings around being overwhelmed and things like that. I thought just maybe it would be useful to have everything in one thing, as opposed to like how it would fundamentally affect how I felt about my week and my month and that kind of stuff. And just also like that ability to flick back and go, okay, I'm feeling tired because this is all the stuff I've done for the last month. It really is a better way to, keep myself more mindful of what I'm doing and what I've been doing.
Do you complement it with sometimes having online reminders of things?
I do. So I actually do still use my online calendar. Everything is put in my online calendar and in here. Like here I'll just have coffee, Sarah, while online, so that it appears on my iPhone, it will have the exact address and things like that. Yep. I don't write exact address and things like that, but and also I do like having something remind me, like a 10-minute
like a line go off.
You need to be here. So I do, I don't want to have all the information in here per se, because that will just sort of clutter everything up.
Yes.
So I do use it with an online calendar too, which I share with Duncan, my partner, as well, and I book in other people for meetings and things like that. So but they still work well together. Yeah,
because I found that it's great to have the online reminders, or when you need to schedule with other people, but then for the planning and the overview, it's nice to be on paper, because like you said, you just see the relationship to everything and how crazy or not crazy weeks are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So Lisa, what is next for you and OpenShed?
So what's next for us? Well, we're going through a pretty exciting period at the moment. We've just started working with one of Australia's largest residential property developers, Stockland. And so we are piloting OpenShed in 5 of their communities. So I'm getting to know people in 2 communities in Victoria, 2 in Queensland and 1 in WA. And so it's spending a bit of time in those communities and spreading the word about sharing to them and getting them online on OpenShed.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to put the links to OpenShed below, and maybe a link about collaborative consumption as well, so people can find out more about it. But Lisa, thank you so much for spending some time with us and sharing your planner. and
Yes,
the way you do things, and your beautiful bird there with us.
Thank you for having me.